The Common Core state standards state that students need to be college and career ready. Being college and career ready requires students to know how to research, to know how to use print and digital texts, and to know how to write. That is why we use a standards-based curriculum. Now, I'd like to focus on what do we actually ask teachers to teach and students to learn. And this is the standards. It has been common practice in the past that when teachers sit down to plan for instruction, they start with the activities instead of discussing the standards. Teachers must start their instructional planning by discussing standards, by analyzing what they think the standards mean and how they will assess students reaching the standards. In MCPS, we use a standards-based grading and reporting system. This means on the student's report card, we actually report out on how students do on each standard. It's not just a grade for reading and a grade for writing, a grade for math, but we actually grade on the proficiency level of each standard. In order to do this, we created proficiency statements for each of the content areas. The proficiency statement states what students should know and be able to do for standards by the end of the school year. These proficiency statements were developed through careful analysis of the standards and indicators. The standards and indicators are also used to develop what we call the headers and the checks for student understanding. These headers and checks for student understanding are used to create what we call sample learning tasks. Sample learning tasks are suggestions of how the teachers go about instructing on the standard. So this is the framework for how we have created a standards-based curriculum. I will be providing examples of each of these components later in this presentation. All of these components go together to create what we want students to know and be able to do. It's a way of taking the standards and breaking them into smaller parts to provide a curriculum for the classroom teachers. Another organizational structure we developed for the standards-based grading, reporting, and curriculum is to develop what we call measurement topics. These measurement topics are clusters of standards. So when we report out on the report card, we don't list every standard, but we list the measurement topics. Writing has 5 measurement topics, the 3 text types, informative, opinion, and narrative, the measurement topic of process, production, and research, and then use of language indicators. For each of these 5 measurement topics, there's a proficiency statement. And again, that proficiency statement is what students should know and be able to do by the end of the school year for that measurement topic. Just to recap, measurement topics are clusters of standards. This next section of the presentation does require that you look at one of the documents. This document is titled the Grade 5 Writing and Information Literacy Crosswalk. Before you pause the presentation to look at this document, let me give you a little more explanation of what it is and what I would like you to look for while you're examining the document. At the top of this document, you will notice the proficiency statement for this measurement topic of process, production, and research. Again, this is for grade 5, and this is what students should know and be able to do by the end of the school year. If you will recall, one of the writing measurement topics is process, production, and research. When we were mapping out the curriculum, we decided that information literacy is a component of this measurement topic. This document lists the standards and indicators that fall under the writing measurement topic. The writing indicators are the Common Core standards, and under the writing indicators are the Maryland State School Library Media Program standards that address that Common Core writing indicator. So as you study this document, think about how the information literacy indicators are more specific. They provide more direction as to what students need to know and be able to do for those Common Core State Standard writing indicators. The other organizational structure on this document is the instructional sequence. You'll notice MP and weeks. Those columns show which marking periods and in which weeks teachers are to teach the indicators. When planning for instruction, teachers need to go through the instructional cycle. You start by identifying the learning goals. In this case, it's using those standards that have been sequenced for you. You plan your instruction based on your students' need, having looked at what the students already know and where you'd like them to go. You provide the instruction that you have planned. During that instruction, you are assessing students, informal assessment, and you're providing feedback on an ongoing basis to students as you're instructing. You formally grade assignments and evidence of student learning, and you use that to report out on student achievement. So what might this planning look like? I have provided Dr. Massey with a link to a video of 5th grade teachers planning for writing instruction. In this video, the teachers and the library media specialist are planning for a 5th grade inquiry, which I will use later in the presentation to show you the how of the curriculum. As you watch this other video, listen for how the teachers discuss what they know the students are able to do and what the instructional focus of the next marking period is going to be for writing. So please pause this presentation now and view the planning video.